Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is HowFast.
What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah.
It's an extra cold one out today.
It's a little chilly out.
A little chilly is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's freezing. It's cold as balls out here.
Yeah. It's concrete, you know, sitting on the... We need some heated concrete. That's what we need.
We need a shop with heated floors.
Shop with heated floors. Anybody out there have a heated floored shop?
Someone wants to just let us work out of for free. That would be fantastic.
That would be just great.
Because, you know, we're broke.
Yeah. This is a budget bill.
But it's so cold. We've released the Kraken.
It's the Kraken. That's keeping us warm.
Yeah, I got the Kraken and a couple beers keeping us warm, which, you know, as Canadians, we love to just hold on to freezing cold objects when it's below zero out.
Yeah.
Including tools. So we're going to get to work on that today. One of the things we were talking about doing is laying out those center lines on the car here. Start pulling some measurements.
Yeah, trying to figure out, I guess, the center part of the cage. Give us some reference points to go off of for suspension, all that kind of stuff. Trying to get this car squared up, make sure when we do decide to send it, it's going to go straight.
That's right. You know, a lot of the things I think that we had discussed was, in particular, the front end of this car. We know is meant to go turn left. At least we were told this is for a road course, so it's maybe a little more to the middle, but it's definitely going to be biased to one side or the other.
Yeah.
We feel like the car wants to turn right, believe it or not. I don't know. This wheel seems like it's towed in.
Well,
and
you can tell by this, like we said, the sway bar thing or whatever, it's actually pushed farther back on the driver's side.
I don't.
And again, with the suspension, like we talked about in here before, it's farther back as well, just for the car to turn left or whatever. So
yeah, when we look at this wheel, it seems like it's cambered out, like really hard, and it's towed in. And then this one over here seems very much straight, like how we would expect something to look. So I think what we were talking about doing is we're going to figure out the center line of the car. We're going to use this side as our points of reference, and then we're going to match it on this side. And then we'll be able to take some more measurements to make sure that all the adjustments, we can get this thing driving as straight as possible.
That's the plan anyway. Yeah, you know, we're basically taking a circle track car and making it into a drag car. So, you know, it's a given that there's going to be a whole bunch of adjustments that we made. So
that's right. That's right.
All we can do is, you know, get our starting points and go from there.
Yeah, let's get started. Hey, bang on. That's good. That's a good sign. Well, you know, yeah, it's a used race car, man. I think it's smacked a bunch of times, right? I can tweak things. This thing is less than 16 out.
It's driving me crazy, but it fits so nice. Get out of my head, new to my life, yeah.
Are you guys still watching? You take a break. We'll catch back up with you in a minute.
Fast like anything, come on.
For you.
Oh, not really. Teamwork. I started it.
Just grab the other end. The other end is already peeled. Cool. So that will hopefully project a line now for us. It will show us where our center is.
So we're bang on 21.58 right there.
21.58.
21.58.
So right now we're center line of our cross member. And on the back side,
We're 21 right on. So that's 5/8 of an inch difference.
okay, well, I think what we've determined is that our front end is a little bit kinked.
Yeah, a little out of whack.
It's a little out of whack. Not terribly surprising with like this kind of a chassis. It's a used race car. It's been bumped and ground. So I'm not surprised that it's a little bit out. I think that we'll probably be able to get away with it. It's not too far out, probably about 1/2 inch to 5/8, right? We figured. And you know, as far as
Well, with what we've got to adjust on the suspension anyway, I mean, you know, that's
yeah, I think we
could have
can.
been a lot worse.
Yeah,
Put it that way,
yeah. I don't. Well, I mean, just looking at it, it looks pretty straight, and it measures out pretty close. I'll show you guys if you can see here. There's our center line. It's on that dead on, and on the back, it's also on there as well. But up here, we're showing about 5/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, somewhere in there off. So that means that the front end of the car here is actually 5/8 to the left, because we're 5/8 to the right up there on there. So what we're gonna have to do now is take some very careful measurements so that we make sure that when we take off this side here and readjust and swing everything out here, that we end up square with the front and the back and all 4 corners, and then we can put this back in place, keeping that little tidbit of information in mind, and try and get it so that everything lines up square.
Another step in the right direction. Another, and all this little stuff you don't think about, eh? When you first start
Oh well.
getting and doing the planning and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
but it's got to be done.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, we're already jumping into this. So even if this was, you know, square,
Yeah.
it's all it is for us is just changing a couple dimensions when we go to put it together.
So, well, we got a few things figured out anyway as far as the suspension goes. A lot of changes we're gonna have to make. Cutting off some brackets and rewelding a few things.
Yeah, we kind of thought about this when we saw it, like the first time we actually saw this car, when we actually pulled the body off and we started looking at the control arms, we noticed that this driver's side one is definitely turned in more than the other one. Now they're both towed in the same amount, but it seems like this one's in a different place than that one when you look at where it is, like in relation to these frame rails and things like that.
But yeah, like you said earlier, you know, removing or adjusting some of these spacers. You know, we've got about an inch or so of adjustment that we need to make on both sides, one going in, one going out, and
That's right.
with the spacers and moving the brackets, we should be able to get to where we need to be without having to make too much.
Yeah, so like we were saying here, the control arm, what's really nice about this car is it's so adjustable, right? Yeah. So if they take a measurement here off of this control arm and we go down to where the laser is, we get a measurement on here, 14 and 5/8.
5/8, yeah.
And then, you know, we pull it up front here, it's 14 1/4. We'll just have to mimic that on this side, on the driver's side, off of the center line, which entails us moving these brackets here that the control arm's attached to forward. So we're gonna have to cut these off and move them forward about 1.5 inches or so.
Right now we're 16 on the back,
Yeah.
you know, and I think we're about 15 and a half on the front,
Yeah, yes, that's right, 15.5.
something like that. Yeah,
So
15
like
and a half on the front.
1/2 inch of toe in. So, you know, what's nice, like we said, is these are completely adjustable. So like the toe and the camber, we can adjust with these spacers, but we need to get this one here closer into the ballpark so that it's not all spacer.
Yeah, so we'll be moving these brackets here back, what, about an inch or?
Yeah,
well,
inch and change.
Yeah, inch and a half or so. You know, we'll have to do a couple more measurements just to make sure, but either way, these two have to be cut off and moved and rewelded.
Yeah. And that'll take this entire tire, which you can see now that it's like badly, like the camber on it's such a positive camber.
Yeah.
That'll pull it in and it'll mimic that side much closer. It should help the car quite a bit.
So, lots of fab work to do. You know, it's just at that point now where waiting for more engine parts to come in. You know, banking more money
Yeah.
to get more parts on order, and of course it's 2 weeks before Christmas, so you with your 6 kids, and I mean
I have 15
kids,
15 kids.
15 kids.
Yeah.
Mine I think is actually buying me presents this year, so
That sounds nice.
you know, it'll be a nice change.
Maybe one day.
One day.
I can pray. Yeah, it's obviously, you know, Derek and I have a very limited budget on this kind of this build. We only, you know, have dedicated a small amount every week just so that we can keep the build going. But there's a ton of fab work here that needs to be done, And that's going to carry us through the winter, as well as once the engine parts start coming in, we'll actually be able to start assembling the motor. So we're hoping kind of late winter we'll have this thing up and running, or at least up and mocked up into the chassis. And then from there it'll just be a matter of firing it up and hearing if it runs.
Yeah, it'll come sooner than later, and it's gonna be a crazy day, man.
The neighborhood, they're gonna love it. I can tell.
Yeah, they're
gonna love it. So that's all we got for today, guys. Kind of a short video, but a lot of planning ahead, letting you guys know, keeping you up to date on what we're thinking, and probably in the next week or two here, hoping to get another welder out here. I have a stick welder, but we were looking for a MIG weld or something that we can start actually attacking some of this with. So
yeah, hopefully we got I got a hand on one that we can probably borrow for a bit. A good friend of ours that should hopefully come through.
Yeah,
and we can get some of the work done. I mean, some of we're gonna need some get a guy in here who can professionally weld, but for mocking some of this stuff up and moving brackets and that kind of stuff, then we got to learn sometimes. So.
Yeah, exactly, and I think there's a couple things we can learn on. One of the things being, like we were talking about, our door bars.
Yeah,
right, we're going to remove some of these and put a door bar in here, and we're going to have to build some sort of small scaffolding for the back side of our actual driver's side door panel to hold it onto the car and keep it rigid while we're driving. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. So stick around, guys. Hope you be sure to subscribe, and hope you enjoy what you're watching.
Yeah, stick around, guys, and again, let's see how fast we get this car to go.